Hello, and welcome to this episode of the 5-Year Reunion. My name's Emily Cherish. This podcast series is about the road trip I took to catch up with 23 of my former high school classmates 5 years after graduating with them. And today, we're going to be driving around central and northern Connecticut to meet up with 3 people I went to high school with. Our first stop is Coventry, Connecticut. This classmate and I had band class together. I always found her to be very sure of herself, and I was in the back of the room, sitting behind 4 menacing timpani drums, scared to play a note.
I'm Marie Randle, and we're in Coventry, Connecticut right now. We're not far from UConn's Store campus. So I'm in my 5th year, master's year at UConn, and I'm getting a degree in secondary math education because I want to be a math teacher. I was in marching band at UConn, which is like kind of a big deal. But yeah, I was in the drum line and I was on the cymbal line specifically. Shout out to my cymbals. I did that forever, which is honestly, I made so many great friends, like lifelong friends. We're huge. We're 300 people in the marching band. It's the largest co-ed like thing that you can do at UConn. Yeah. A lot of Newtown people went to UConn, I think, or ended up at UConn somehow or other.
I didn't realize that.
There's a lot of us. It's kind of wild because UConn's we have 25,000 undergrads. Like, it's a pretty big campus, but I would see them all the time. Like, literally, I'd be walking to class or past the student union and I'd be like, is that Andrew Pirnir?
Okay, as I remember in high school, like, drama in marching band. Like, I was, like, on the peripheral end of, like, the music scene in high school.
Yeah.
And is there drama?
There's definitely drama. Like, my biggest rule is don't date in your section. Just obvious reasons, don't date in your section. Don't have any secrets in marching band because it goes around. One of the other kids in drumline, he rides a unicycle, and bro bit it. Like, fell really, really bad and injured himself quite embarrassingly. And it was around the whole drumline in literally a day, and then the whole marching band knew by the end of the week. Poor guy.
He's like, I'm just trying to get to class.
We're also like huge into SpongeBob.
Oh.
That's like a thing in marching band.
Okay.
Like, huge amount of SpongeBob memes. Don't ask me why. But like, that's a thing.
That's very RAR. Like RAR XD.
Yeah. We're kind of weird, but it's good.
You know, my sister.
Yeah.
She was like really involved with that. Like everything marching band.
Yeah.
And like there was always like flute section drama.
Yeah.
Like someone was like doing something and she comes home and slams her flute on the counter. Oh, there's something going on.
You'll never believe what just happened. Yeah. I really found what I want to do in life. You know, I really feel passionate about becoming a high school math teacher. I really want to use that platform to like make a difference.
How so?
So this is going to sound a little weird, but I've had a couple of professors specifically who've inspired me to use math education to teach for social justice, and highlight like inequities and bring multiculturalism into the curriculum, which sounds like a little like
no, break it down for me. I'm interested.
Yeah, a lot of people just think like math is not political, math is just math. But actually, you can learn so much about history through math, and you can learn how to see the world around you, because we're inundated with facts and statistics on social media, magazines, news, and if you don't actually know how to interpret statistics, you might be getting gypped and you don't even know. Even with election math, you can do election math and learn about how gerrymandering works, which is how states fudge voting cool. And stuff like that, which is like super timely, especially with all the elections we've had recently. And also just like showing students that a mathematician can look like anybody. A lot of people, when you say mathematician, you think old white guy with crazy hair, right? But no, there have been hundreds of thousands of Black mathematicians, LGBTQ mathematicians, women mathematicians, who've just kind of been silenced, you know, over the course of history for one reason or another. But I really want to be able to like teach my kids not only math that helps them succeed in life, but also where that math came from.
Where did that like motivation come from?
Well, a lot of it was that I noticed I was quite the feminist And it kind of built on. So like the infringement of human rights on LGBTQ folks, on people of color, I've just like kind of had enough of it, you know? And I'm gonna be around hundreds of thousands of kids. Well, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds, hundreds to thousands of kids over the course of my
You're in an
career.
amphitheater.
Look, guys, I'm in a position to make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, and to educate my students about like what's going on in the world. And I think math is a really cool way to do that. I will say in high school, I feel like I was pretty awkward, you know, kind of insecure about my own thoughts. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that like women aren't supposed to be loud, women aren't supposed to be opinionated. I got teased, called bossy, that sort of thing. And then I got to college and I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I have these opinions, I have these thoughts, and I'm gonna tell the world. I'm gonna be confident in my own decisions and my own convictions and my own likes. And I even remember in high school, like I didn't like the Jonas Brothers or like One Direction until like the very end, because I was like, that's not cool, that's so mainstream. And then I just realized, like senior year of high school, who cares?
Like, they fucking rock.
They rock. Yo, they've got great music.
They honestly
and
do.
Who cares
Yeah.
if One Direction is like every 12-year-old's dream? No, they're amazing artists.
I went to the One Direction concert I went with Maddie Duffy. And then we saw Amanda Walsh there.
Yeah, I was there too.
Oh,
yeah.
You were there.
I was.
We were actually saying we're talking about One Direction like we didn't go to a concert together. You have a twin brother.
Yes.
So what is your relationship now? What was it then?
So Nick and I were pretty close in high school, I will say that. Just by nature of what classes we took. We were both in marching band. The only difference was really I was a figure skater and Nick was a baseball player. So that was really the only time we were apart, I guess. And even then, I would go to his practices and his games, and he'd come to my practices and performances. So we were pretty close. And then I would say in college, we kind of drifted apart a little bit because he went into the business school, and I pretty quickly went into the education school, NEAG.
You both went to UConn.
Yeah, we're both at UConn, but we didn't live together.
Right.
We had very few classes together. I think we had one class together freshman year. He chose not to do marching band at UConn. He actually got really involved with racquetball and stuff like that. So we just kind of discovered who we were independently of each other. You know, it was that time to figure out, oh, I can live by myself, because there's next to nothing we haven't experienced together, you know, because as twins, we always had birthday parties together, you know. We did Halloween costumes together, and then we kind of individualized in college. And then during COVID, we actually got really close again. So we have weekly dinners. We cook together. That's
so cute.
Yeah, it's super nice because he's also in an apartment not far away from here.
I always think twin relationships are like different than like normal siblings.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I would definitely say that for sure. Like growing up, I was definitely more of a tomboy. You know, I loved Transformers and Beyblades and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that, which I think a lot of that came from Nick. And then Nick was super into Disney, like knew all the Disney princesses, like super in touch with his emotions, is able to communicate like those more feminine, quote unquote feminine, right. Ideals. So I think it's really helped the both of us become well-rounded people.
Thanks to Marie. After finishing up with Marie, I decided to get a bite to eat. Per Marie's recommendation, I went to Tacos La Rosa's in Willimantic, Connecticut. Hey.
Hi.
Do you have a menu?
Yeah.
Thanks. After a timely and extensive review of their menu, I ordered a single beef taco. And with that, I was off to see my next classmate, just a 4-minute drive from Tacos La Rosa.
I'm Andrew Pirnir, and I am at my girlfriend's rented house, Enji, in Willimantic, Connecticut.
Who is with you? Who is sitting next to you right now?
So, Enji, if you want to introduce yourself.
I am Enji Zhou, and I'm from China. I am an international student at UConn, and with my boyfriend right here.
Hell yeah. We're sitting in a spare bedroom.
Yeah.
We're chilling. There's no decorations on the walls.
No, it's pretty bare. But currently, I have a job at a housework company where I'm a junior brand manager.
So you guys have been dating for 2 years.
Yeah, a little over 2 years. It was March 16th, I believe. That's our anniversary. I mean,
That's exciting.
we went through COVID together, so that's kind
You
of...
literally can do anything
I know,
together.
right?
How did you guys meet?
Yeah, I worked at one of many Yukon dining halls, and Enji, she had just started, and I don't know, we just got to talking. We talked at a couple of parties, and it just, we were friends, and then just we liked each other and just turned into more.
As it does.
As it does.
I remember from high school you were into music.
I was, definitely, yeah. So, yeah, I just, I've always liked listening to music, and it was just one day I felt like, why not? I recorded on my laptop microphone at the time.
The internal laptop microphone?
Hot garbage.
Wow.
Hot garbage. Yeah, it was bad. And yeah, I think it was Bird Talk. I mean,
Bird Talk.
It took off. Like,
Riding in the Chevy, bumping curry real heavy. Pop the trunk, see me loaded. Yeah, you know I'm on it ready. Keep it.
I didn't really want it to. Like, it just kind of happened. Like, I showed my friends, and then they showed people, and then it's just like everything I did after that. It wasn't really like big, but Bird Talk for some reason actually.
You know I'm bustin', all you boys just tired bustin'. Say I'm looking super lean, but I don't need no Robitussin. And I'm chillin' in the cut, posted up with the buds, and I'm talking to the birds like.
That stuck with people.
It did stick with people.
Chillin' in the cut, posted up with the buds, and I'm talking to the birds like.
I mean, lately I've been just like watching a lot of TV with my dad. That's like one of the nice parts about being home, like every night after work and after like dinner. We'll go down to my basement and just like watch sports. Or lately we were just talking about like finally getting cable TV again, because we haven't had cable TV in like
A hot minute.
we've been talking about getting it again, and we're getting all excited. And so just like,
Oh.
yeah, it is just fun.
Are you close with your dad?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm close with my family in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, for sure.
So you're learning Mandarin.
I'm trying
We're
my
both
best.
learning Mandarin.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think you're a little further along than me, probably.
Where are you at right now?
I can do very basic sentences like 我是 Andalou. I can do 你怎么样? Like how are you? I know certain things, like I know how to say like noodles, I know how to say like rice, I know how to say fish. But like you don't learn like pork, you don't learn like, so it's like I have a very very specific skill set.
So you
like
can order fish, but no pork.
I know. It's fun though, and it's definitely, I'd love to be able to talk to your parents, because her parents, they're English. I mean, they don't speak great English, right? Like,
No, not really.
that's really the main like motivator.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta talk. Like, I've never met her parents before, because they're still in China. They've been in China, so.
So you can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. When you're talking to your mom, I can hear what you're saying. But what's fun is like, so when we watch The Office, and we watch it on a website with like Chinese subtitles, and
yeah.
like I'm starting to like, I can pick out like words that I know now.
You know the show I am watching right now? It's like mom and mother-in-law.
Oh, this is a big one. Yeah, it's like I've watched a part of the first season because they have English subtitles. But basically, it's like a reality show where they get all these famous like couples, and they have like the mother-in-law spend time with the wife, and it's very very funny.
What is the show called?
It's just called Mother and Mother-in-Law.
The most
That's the
iconic
direct
title.
translation. Yeah. Jersey Shore, they're just like slapping each other. like-
Exactly. That's true.
which I think has its own merit. But anyway, yeah, it's very different. Like the Chinese.
The Chinese show. I don't think they will actually like slap each other.
No, the drama. It's very.
We are kind of just like, we have to kind of like respect our like mother-in-law, mother stuff, because they're like older than us, and it's like your mother.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just kind of our culture, but now it's kind of like more open, and yeah, sometimes, but you definitely don't slap your mother-in-law.
I think eventually I'd like to move away from Connecticut, but I don't know. It's kind of up in the air at this point. I just like want to make sure that I'll have money and whatever I need to explore all available options.
I like
That's
that.
the best way to put it. Yeah.
Do you want to live in a house or an apartment?
I don't really care, honestly.
Okay.
Probably apartment to start. I mean, like, I'd love to have a house eventually, but, that's like, I envision that way down the line, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. I want a cat. That's really what I want.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, right? Like, so
Are you an existential person?
So, I mean, I don't really know what that means.
The world, like, who am I in this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
those
yeah,
people that, like,
no.
sit and think.
No.
Okay.
Wait, so what's that mean?
So it's just like do I think about, like, why am I here on this earth? Like, what's my purpose? Like, my
Like
grand
why I exist?
Exact,
Yeah.
existential. That's, yeah.
Do you know what Tumblr is?
Tumblr?
I-
No.
It's like this like 2014 app. You know what side bangs? Like the girls who had side bangs. That with like writing poetry. Like no one understands me. That's what it is. No one understands me.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
XD.
I get
You can use it as an adjective. Like you can say like, oh my god, that was so Tumblr. Like some examples of sentences would be like, I feel like we're all just one speck of dust. Oh my god, that was so Tumblr. You know what Marie said about you?
What'd she say?
Marie Randle was a girl we went to high school with, and she was like, Andrew Pirnir, nicest face to see. And I was like,
That
wow.
makes me feel good. Like, I don't know if I know someone well enough to say hi to them. Like that just internally like makes me very like anxious. When I see someone I kind of know walking by, it's like, do I say hi to them? Will I think it's weird? Like, I definitely have a little bit of anxiety, stuff like that. But like, yeah, Marie, like, I don't know. I just like, it's just easy.
Yeah.
Some
of
people it
course.
was easy to say hi to. Like UConn, you see so many people from Newtown. Like it was cool, but like it was like no escaping Newtown whatsoever.
You should go to China.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thanks to Andrew and Enji. While making this podcast, I've been thinking about not only my former high school classmates, but also my former high school teachers. I decided to message one of my favorite teachers from high school. She agreed to do a virtual interview, so we're going to make a little detour into the parking lot of 1-800-DENTIST and give her a call.
You have arrived at 1,800 dentists.
I am Kristen English. I teach English at Newtown High School and have this is my 17th year. And I'm sitting in my empty classroom. I'm lucky in that I don't know how like normal or appropriate this is, but with the advent of social media, like I feel like I get to see you all kind of develop over Facebook, more Instagram now, but I get to see like where you go and what you're up to. And you're all adults now. Many of the students that I'm in contact with are in their 20s and 30s. And a lot of my favorite things are when, you know, we had been talking about something in my class about what you wanted to do with your life. And then like you're doing it. It's really great to watch that. And so when you really become adults, it's super fun to watch you like become parents and go to college and get the job that you've always wanted. I also like selfishly love when my former students become teachers. Like, especially I've had a few become like English teachers and I get like real weepy about that.
Teaching Newtown students in particular, what's specific about this group of people?
I got this job and it was unlike anything I'd ever done. And I was really kind of raw coming into it. I really learned to be a teacher here, but like I didn't really know what I was made of until I got into the real classroom and in front of high school students and started teaching like really complex texts and complex people. And then of course, like, you know, it's like my teaching career has been divided in half. So it's up until, 12, 14. And then after 12, 14, sadly, a lot of people have this understanding, like a lot of teachers have this understanding, but there's the before and then there's the after. And we're still in the after. How I viewed education shifted a lot after that. So, and I don't know any other way. We stayed and we adapted and we worked with the kids and moved with the kids and not just teaching English, I'm teaching students. And that sounds really cliche, but it's like really important. And now it's like ever present in my mind. English classes tend to be the place where feelings kind of come out, like just as you connect to the literature or as we ask you to do some personal writing, or even when it's not personal writing, like if a book speaks to you, like you can really kind of pour yourself into that. And we just like, we've had a lot of the conversations about like, it's almost like, is it a disservice if we teach it or is it a disservice if we don't teach it? Like what's going to help them? What's going to hurt them? It's a fine line. I love teaching in Newtown, and I will say this again and again, is like, I really love the students. Like I know students are good everywhere and I know every school has great kids, but like, I have not had a difficult class in like maybe over a decade. Like, a class that I was like, oh, like, I don't know if I can do that again today. You know what I mean? Like, which says a lot.
What are some of the personal changes you've experienced in the past 5 years?
I mean, I'm a mom now. So, when you had me, I had my first baby and he's now 6. And my daughter's 3.5. I am very much a working mom. I was a teacher first. Like I was a teacher before I was a wife. I was a teacher before I was a mom. And I'm finding myself working hard to find the balance. I have 100 students who I like really care about and really want to do well. And then I have to go home, shift gears, and have these two amazing humans that I want to make sure stay amazing humans and that I'm not messing them up profoundly. And like, I'm like definitely generally exhausted. There's not a lot of time for me anymore, which is like, you know, I'm okay with it. Like there'll be time at some point and I'll get there.
What are some things that you want for yourself, either personally or professionally, in the next 5 years?
When I became a teacher, it was because like, this is where I wanted to be. Like I wanted to be with students and I wanted to be in the classroom. So I have my dream job. Like this is the job, even when it sucks, is like still the job that I think I was meant to do. So I want to keep doing it. And I want to like, you know, I rewrote the women's studies curriculum. I'm kind of like trying to push that forward and work on having these conversations about gender and sexuality and race and all of those things I probably couldn't have talked about 10 years ago. The idea of like updating what we have and like making it contemporary and making it matter and like maybe changing minds a little bit and like getting people thinking about things they didn't think about before. I think that's really important to me professionally. What these kids leave with after, like I can tell they're thinking about something beyond what they were thinking about before.
Thanks to Mrs. English. With that, I was off to see my final classmate for this episode. This classmate and I go way back. Our families are friends. Her and I have some great memories together.
My name's Megan Olszewski. I know Emily from high school. I live in New Haven now, and professionally, I'm a pizza maker. I live in the city of pizza, New Haven, but I, don't work at the famous places. Making pizzas to pay rent, starting a podcast with my roommate, Two Stone Birds, plug, and I'm just trying to get my life going, get my real world, air quotes, life going.
What is like living here and who lives underneath you and everything?
When we moved in, a Jewish family moved in, a young Jewish family. They're so nice. Mm-hmm. They're really chill. They have had no issues with us, and likewise, except their dog is loud.
Oh,
I can't hear it up here, but it's like I open the door and I hear their dog.
Yeah. They're on the first floor?
Yeah.
Okay, I did hear the dog, yeah.
And then we have the middle floor, which I think they're a little more sophisticated might be the word to use. I was gonna say uptight,
okay,
but they're not fully uptight. Like they're pretty chill. Mm-hmm. It's just that they're like doctors, and every time I've interacted with them, it's usually the husband. Oh my god, I hope they can't hear me. I've interacted with the husband. The last time I saw him, and he just kind of, he looks a little douchey.
Okay.
And like their Wi-Fi is the doctors because they're both doctors. Okay. And I'm just like, okay, what's the password? Like, are here to help? Like, I don't know, some corny ass stupid thing.
What is the podcast about?
My podcast is going to be about me and my friend dealing with multitasking in life, trying to figure out where we're going while also enjoying where we are. It is going to be a stoner-based podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about that stuff now that it's becoming more legalized. So one of our ideas we were just talking about is doing like stoner pet peeves. People who smoke weed that have pet peeves about other people who smoke weed.
What's a pet peeve?
Like, something I hate that people do is they always talk about like the first time someone's getting high, and they always say like the exact same story, and it's like a very basic narrative, and it's like there's no way we all have the same story. Like,
so why make a podcast about weed?
It's becoming a lot more normalized now, so I feel like I want to get ahead of that curve and be like talking about things that people haven't really talked about yet, kind of break some stereotypes of stoners, bring to light some stereotypes of stoners that aren't as basic, and break the negative connotations is a big thing that I want to do too. A lot of people associate stoners with just being lazy and like not doing anything. So I want to break some of the bad connotations that stoners have, I guess is...
Because I don't smoke weed at all.
I remember this. Yes. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Why not? Wait, have you tried it?
I've tried it, and I like had a freak out.
Okay,
literally
so
a freak
not
out.
for you.
Not
then.
for me. Chemically, there's something that just doesn't agree with me. Or doesn't agree in my like chemical makeup. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
But like, why do you enjoy it?
It was part of my identity for a long time growing up. I shouldn't say it like that. It sounds like I've been smoking weed since I was like a wee lad. Like, so I guess I started smoking weed when I was probably 15. I had older brothers, so that kind of heavily influenced me into doing it, I guess. Very, stereotypical. But I identified with it for a long time, I think, because I didn't know who else I was, but I knew a lot about this topic because I had a lot of it around me. So I thought I was like a cool person, you know. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm the only girl in our high school who's like a heavy stoner. Looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I was stupid. I ended up winning worst case of senioritis. Surprise, surprise there. I enjoy weed like my mom enjoys a glass of wine at the end of the night, you know what I mean? So I always was angry that I couldn't go out and just take a little hit of weed before I have dinner when I was in high school. I also had issues with the stoner identity, I think, though, because of all the negative connotations that come with it. And I do definitely suffer from some of it. I can be a bit of a ditz now that I've smoked a lot of weed, and sometimes I can be a bit of an airhead. So that's another reason is like I want to break that. Yeah, just because you smoke a lot of weed and you can be an airhead doesn't mean you're like, you should be tossed aside as just a one word, like, oh, you're just a stoner.
Who's your best friend?
My best friend is Samantha. Around town, they call her Samantha Spliff, actually. But Samantha Gudis. And we started this because we had a radio show beforehand and we just loved talking to each other in that dynamic of having a show. So we were like, we need to continue this after our radio show ended. We wanted to start it up, but in a new form. So Two Stone Birds was birthed. When Corona first hit and quarantine was like starting, I don't want to say had a problem, but I was drinking a lot. I look back on that time and I don't remember a lot of it because I would literally like wake up and start drinking at like 12, 11 o'clock in the morning because I had nothing else to do. And I was like, yeah, let's go crazy. Like quarantine, I got nothing else to do. And looking back on that, I kind of wish I spent my time more productively. Like I was telling you, like it was like a whole year, I feel like, of not doing as much as I would have wanted to. So once I started working, that kind of went away, which was really good. I found that negative experience told me I need to be doing something all the time. Like I always had that structure of school. And then once I lost, like, oh, now I'm not a student, I don't go to school anymore. It's like, well, what am I going to do all the time, you know? So it was like that graduating thing of like, oh, you're not a student anymore. What do? Do you go back to school, go to grad school? I didn't want to do that. And then I was like, well, I can't go to work. So I just kind of fell into this drunken stupor for a little bit. And it was fun. I mean, like, I'm a young kid. If there's any time to do it, I guess that's the time. But yeah, that wasn't great, but it taught me a lot, you know?
Yeah. Things that are very important to you right now.
And I've been having this like self-help coaching with myself every drive to work the past few days where I'm like, yes, I sound like one of these cliche like preachers where they're like, you gotta stay positive, you know, like I feel like we had assemblies like that in high school where like someone would come in and they were like, be positive. I used to be addicted to drugs and now I'm addicted to positivity because I've been trying to get out of my job. So that mentality has really been getting me through.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the 5-Year Reunion. Next week, we're going to be in my hometown, Newtown, Connecticut, to get a lay of the land, go to the diner, of course, and meet 3 people I went to high school with. Subscribe to this podcast everywhere you listen, and I'll see you next week.